Welcome. This is a little program that we gather folks for. With people who like to tell stories, who have stories that are really worth telling, and the story matters. That's what we want to affirm. And today we have two really marvelous musicians who are going to help tell this story. Michele McHugh plays the trumpet, among other things, I'm sure, for Middlebury Winds. And Jerry is going to share with us about being a director, and he's a marvelous percussionist. And so now I turn it over to Marilyn.
Thanks, Len. Well, I wanted to let you know about the Midwinds. We're approaching 30 years now. It's a little less than that at this point. In a couple of years, maybe we'll have a big anniversary show, but I was a member of the Middlebury College staff, and a sign went up saying that there was a band being formed and that faculty, staff, and students were all allowed to join the group. So I thought, well, I'm going to give that a try. So that was the Middlebury Wind Ensemble that existed. I think it went for maybe 2 seasons. And it was a faculty member who led us. She was an adjunct music faculty member who came down from Johnson, Vermont every Wednesday and gave French horn lessons. Mm-hmm. And she had told the music department, I really want to do more while I'm here. What else can I do for the music department? Well, the college only had an orchestra at that point and a jazz band, but they didn't have a wind group. So she started it. Well, when I joined that group, posters and ads had gone around town too. I met a few community members who were musicians. Well, when that woman retired, no other faculty picked up the baton, as it were, to keep the group going. Well, when I had met those other community members, that was in the fall, the first time I met them, they said, hey, we belong to there's a couple of summer bands. Do you want to join us? I'm a trumpet player. So I started playing in these other community groups. So I got to meet a whole lot of musicians. Well, then when that woman retired, people said, there's no music in Middlebury for the community in the winter months or in fall and spring. Why is that? Why don't you try and put something together? And I thought, oy, 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 what does that mean? Well, what it meant was I talked to all the people that I knew from the Bristol band, the Virgin City band. Those were the 2 groups I first joined. And people said, yeah, I'd come in the winter. Yeah, why not? I'll play. Then I got in touch with the Addison Independent, put out an ad. I think it was a simple thing that said, do you want to play your instrument? I quickly learned, though, you have to be clear about percussion and drums. I mean, I had guitar players and other violins contacting me, and I thought, oh, gotta change the ad. We're wind and percussion. So that's how it all started. And in the beginning, we didn't have a conductor. The first year, I think we were either 8 or 10 people who came, and we rehearsed. The college let us use the rehearsal hall, and we would just find some music, and like the Bristol band would let us borrow some music, and the 10 of us would play it. And I'm sure we didn't even give a concert that year. We just met regularly and played. But then we talked about it, and then it just grew from there. Ida Washington was one of the original members within the first 2 or 3 years, and Mrs. Washington said, she helped me write the next ad to entice people to come. Mm-hmm. And Then I got in touch with Dr. Emery Fanning at the college and said he was teaching composing. So we had a student composer one season, and he got credit for, and at that point we were up to maybe 15 or 20 members. And we rehearsed still at the college, and yeah, it was amazing to learn with that young man. I remember at the end of it, he said to me, I think the most important thing I've learned this semester is how to get along with people. I said, well, in a band of musicians, all of whom have egos, you have to learn how to do that, you know. And that's where we started. Then we went for a time where we couldn't find a conductor, and one of our members said, well, I've been playing since I was 6 years old. I'll be the conductor. And she's still one of our conductors, Alice Weston. She stepped up, she learned how to conduct, she practiced conducting, and yeah, amazing. And I wanted to say that about Midwinds, that now we've been going, as I said, for almost 30 years. We're up to like 40, 45 members every semester. And it's an incredible musical community. It's not just, well, like Alice stepped up to conduct. And we have other members who come to play with us. Jerry was one of those folks. And then Jerry said, I'm a conductor, I could conduct. We have members who write music. We have composers. We have arrangers. So it's an incredible musical community that I'm really proud of the group, that how we've come together. And a number of years ago, one of the regulars, it's someone who still plays with us, he told me that this was the group he most looks forward to, because he said, well, I said, it counters what I earlier said, but he said, the Midwinds is a group of people, no matter what their position in life, and no matter what their title is, no matter what they're used to playing, whether they're used to being a soloist or a background person, everyone in this group is friendly and kind, and I don't think there's any ego in this group. And I thought, you know, it's true. You go to some other groups and there's arguing about, well, I should be the soloist. Well, I want to play that, and that's my part. We pass parts around all the time in every section in Midwinds. Everybody is there just because on Wednesday night for 2 hours, we're there to enjoy ourselves and enjoy the company. Oh yeah, we do pay attention to the conductor every so often, but mostly it's a wonderful, relaxing experience, and really it's more social than musical. We do a lot of musical work too, but I look forward to it every week, and I'm really proud of the makeup of the group. And we're a group, we have high school students, college students, community members, we have music teachers, we have retired music teachers, we have people who played in high school and college and then raised their families, didn't take their horn out of the closet, and then they heard about Midwinds and they started practicing, and now they're back. So I think it's an incredible organization.
Yeah, it is remarkable to belong to a community group that really is a community group, and people make contributions and they give support. And are you still drawing from a larger number of people from different towns?
Oh, my dear. Well, we're called the Middlebury Community Wind Ensemble. I bet a
Okay.
minority of us live in Middlebury. Although we do have a number of college students, Middlebury college students.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had high school students from, wasn't one fellow last season from Virgins? The percussionist came from Virgins High School.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And
We have people from Granville, New York now.
that's
and
right. We cover all of Addison County.
Mhm.
We have people who come down from Burlington. They drive down on Wednesdays. One of our longtime members lives in Rutland. We have, and everybody, these aren't folks who just play September through December in Middlebury on Wednesday nights. These are folks who play in all the summer bands in Rutland, in Burlington, in Orwell has a town band.
Mm-hmm.
Lyme, New Hampshire.
Lyme, New Hampshire, that's right. Rochester, Randolph, Vermont. We play all over the place. There's a group of midwinders who are also members of LC Jazz, which is a wonderful swing band in Virgins. And singers. We have Maiden, Vermont members in our group. We have Middlebury Community and College Chorus members. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I'm always floored when I learn. You know, you think, oh, this person is a clarinet player in Midwinds. Oh no! Once you get to talk to people, you find out they play organ at some church, or they play violin with the Champlain Philharmonic.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Hey, I was going to ask both of you, where was the beginning of your musical life? Was you were you a trumpet player all during this
As a
time?
child, my parents signed me up for guitar lessons, and we went to, I forget his name sadly, but we went to his house, and after maybe the fourth lesson, I came out in tears, and my mom was in the car, and she said, "Michelle, what is happening? What's the matter?" And I said, I had to lie. I lied to him. He asked me how much I had practiced, and I told him I practiced every day.
Oh.
And it just, not that I'm that honest, although I try to be, but as a child, I was just, so we went in together. Well, and I told him I hadn't practiced, and he said, I knew you hadn't been practicing. But anyway, after that, I stopped guitar lessons because I wasn't enjoying it. It seemed like torture to me.
Yeah.
And then in fourth or fifth grade, we had, I grew up in Massachusetts, in Leominster, Massachusetts, and we had band night. So we went, my parents and I went, and there were people showing you the instruments with the cases with the velvet inside. Yeah. And they'd play the instrument, and then they'd say, okay, so children, come up, talk to who you want. And honestly, at that time, a lot of my girlfriends went over to the flute and went over to the clarinet, and I made a beeline for the trumpet with a lot of the boys. And my mom's saying, we should come over here. Do you want to listen to the flute? And I said, no, I want to see this. I think partly in my brain I was thinking, 3 valves.
That's true.
I don't have to learn anything here.
Yeah.
On a flute, how many is that, you know?
Yeah, that's great.
And that was it. And my parents have always been very supportive and were very gracious to say, you know what, you can give it a try. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so from 5th grade on, I've been playing.
You were playing trumpet.
Yeah.
How about you, Jerry? What instruments?
I started late. When I was in 9th grade, I can remember, this was down in Albany County, New York. My parents hauled me out of Vermont when I was 3, and it took me 50 years to get back, but I'm back now. So I went to a chorus rehearsal, and the this was a small school. The teacher, of course, was also the band teacher. They had just purchased a pair of timpani, and he wheeled them out on the stage and said he was showing them off, and said that he was looking for someone to play them. And as I remember it, about 20 minutes later, I was in his office saying, "Aye, sir, I would like to play them." So I started percussion, particularly focusing on timpani. And then when I was in 11th grade, he asked me to switch over to euphonium, which I did, and that was my major in college. When I retired and came back to Vermont, one of the first concerts I went to was Middlebury Community Wind Ensemble. And I remember the concert. It was in Rochester.
And I know who conducted. Yeah.
And so Alice Weston was conducting, and I was really impressed. I knew, I was sort of expecting a town band with sort of questionable performance ability, but the music that she chose and the instrumentalists, the talent of the instrumentalists, it was surprisingly good. So I spoke to her afterwards and I said, I noticed you have 4 euphoniums, so here's my phone number in case you ever need a sub. But she said, no, you should come down anyway. And it would have been pretty unwieldy to have 5 euphonia, but as it turns out, a little shifting went on. So it was a reasonable number, and I played euphonium for several years. So I think that was 2005 when I first started, 2004 or 5, something like that. So, yeah, that's how I found my way to Midwinds.
That's great. Those are great stories. And I'm sure you'd get started on heroes of the Midwinds. The people who have also had musical stories like yours that have been from one instrument to another, all of which makes it for a great experience in music. So, any more about the history that you want to share?
Another part of our community is, of course, the schools. Now, the college, we're still connected with the college. We have been for years able to give our concerts in the Mahaney Concert Hall, which is an incredible experience for us. But also, the local schools have been incredibly generous. We have rehearsed for many years at the Middlebury Union High School in their band room. So musicians don't have to come with their music stand over their shoulder and their trumpet and then a folding chair under their arm. We go to the music room where everything's all set up. And it sounds silly to say that, but we've also played events like at Holly Hall in Bristol, which is a wonderful place, and the folks who are there, we adore them. But we have to set everything up. We not only have to bring chairs and music stands, we have to set up the audience chairs too.
And all the percussion instruments.
And bring in all the percussion instruments, right. They were all at the school. So we've been very lucky. Middlebury High School, formerly Ann Severy, and now Rob DeBruin, they're very welcoming to let us use their band room. Matt Tatro is the music teacher at Mount Abraham. When, recently, Middlebury High School is putting on a musical. We rehearsed out at Mount Abraham and here at the Middlebury Middle School too. So this
becomes a regional experience.
Absolutely. We do try to give concerts in, it depends on how things are going, but we do try to do Middlebury and Bristol. Now, if the college is booked and we can't get on the schedule, which has happened, we have given concerts at Middlebury High School. We've given them, like I've mentioned, at Holly Hall in the past, Mount Abraham. I think we did Virgins Union High School once or twice. I don't think we've done the Opera House, but that's another place we'd have to bring everything. So at this point, it's easier or it's more conducive for us to
Yeah,
go to a music room.
it makes sense to do that. Yeah.
So you're always working on music, and you're particularly working on music for a fall concert, right? Can
Correct.
you tell us about that?
We've been rehearsing since September on this program, and the concerts will be December 4th at Mount Abraham Union High School, 7 p.m.
7:30.
7:30. 7:30. Okay, thank you for the correction. Yes, everything at the college is 7:30, so to be consistent, we do it
That's what the email said, so I'm going by that.
I probably sent the email. No, Karen probably did.
Karen sent it.
So, yes, we'll be at Mount Abraham the evening of Wednesday, December 4th, and then the following evening we'll be at the college, at the Mahaney Center. Both of those are 7:30, no tickets required. And we've always had interesting programs that have been have had elements of local participation. This one is particularly filled with some local things. So, for example, one of our horn players, Jack Clay, is a very talented musician, not only in playing the horn, but also doing some transcriptions. Jack has done a transcription of the Capriole Suite by Peter Warlock. It's a piece for string ensemble, but he has transcribed it for concert band, for wind ensemble, and just a wonderful, wonderful work that he has done, finding amazing colors in all the wind instruments, and a fairly long piece. So we're looking forward to that. That'll be a world premiere for that transcription. We're going
And
to
it moves.
Yes, yes. It has 6 movements, and some of them move right along.
Some of them move very fast.
It's yeah. But you keep up with me.
Well,
that's
we're
going pretty well.
working on
It's going
it,
pretty
yeah.
well. Peter Warlock is a pseudonym. I actually don't know his real name. Maybe I can look it up in time to write the program notes.
Yeah.
But it's a pseudo-Renaissance piece, and yet every once in a while he goes off the rails, and it sounds very 20th century. So just great fun, a lovely piece, and this transcription is wonderful. We're also doing a piece of mine. I went to high school down in Albany County, New York, and a couple of years ago I had the idea of writing a piece for them. So that was premiered down there back in June, and we're going to be doing it here. Also, a dear friend of mine is a composer. He has written a piece called Ballad for Lindy. It's in memory of my late wife. You both knew Lindy Bortney, and she died in May, so we'll be doing that, a world premiere. Dan and I have been close friends since freshman year of college, and this will be the first time that a single program will feature a piece of music by him and also by me. So,
Oh, that's special. Yeah.
right, so
That's a good history.
we'll take a show of hands. Who thinks my piece is better? So we'll see how that goes. But the piece he has written in memory of Lindy is very touching. It includes a bit of the folk song, The Water is Wide, which is a piece that Lindy conducted many times in school music, and also working on a barbershop arrangement of it. And then we are also featuring a local horn player, Mary Bisson. Mary played horn in the Baltimore Symphony for 34 years, and when she retired to Vermont, she and her wife live in Bristol. She said she wasn't going to do any more playing. Well, I'm happy to say she didn't keep her word. She's going to be playing a horn solo with us.
Oh, that's great.
So she is just terrific, just wonderful. And then maybe the centerpiece of this concert, I'll be conducting Aaron Copland's Lincoln Portrait. It's a piece with narrator, and our narrator will be Francois Clemens.
Oh, okay. Right.
So it's going to be
I've done a show with Francois,
uh-huh.
and if you get a chance to see it here sometime, we were talking. It came out of his last concert, and I said, "You ought to do a tape with your last concert." So he started. I talked an introduction, and he started to sing, and so I talked some more, and he started to sing, and we did this 5 times. we would go from one to the other. It was so much fun.
Oh, I bet.
You don't have to ask him twice.
No, you do not. You do not.
So, Len, I wondered if you would like to hear a little excerpt of
Yes,
of what we
like,
sounded like.
very much.
This
like
is a piece called Declaration, Ballade, and Finale by Ed Huckabee. I think I was conducting this. It's a few years ago. But this just give your viewers a little sample of what Middlebury Community Wind Ensemble sounds like. Yeah, I was saying I was conducting that. I should mention that there have been several other people who have conducted our group. Rob De Bruin conducted us one time. We had Kathy Ott was a fine flute player and conductor, so she and I alternated for a while. She lives out of the country now, unfortunately. Of course, Alice, who we mentioned.
Chris Foster,
Chris
who's
Foster.
a local trumpeter. He has been a conductor.
More recently, yes.
Yep.
Larry Hamberlin, was he a conductor at one time before my time?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Not
He's played with us though. He's been in the group.
Yes, I know he's played
And
with us.
we've had like we're having Mary and Francois featured this season. We've had other soloists too who have joined us.
Right.
So it's been that has also been incredible for those of us who just sit there blowing our horns to meet these other folks.
Had a poster here, our 10th anniversary, and that was 2007.
Okay.
So you must have started the group in '97. Does that sound right?
Yep.
That sound right? By the way, Len, I wanted to finish up on the story before about my starting on timpani. When we had a very fine timpanist for many years, John Klink from Cornwall.
No, John.
And eventually John decided that his hands just couldn't do it anymore, so he gracefully retired. We miss him very much. But that meant that when someone else was conducting, the timpani was available. So I ran back there and grabbed it. So I've been able to play some timpani. It's like my second childhood, getting back to what I played as a kid.
We get from his story that he runs after music as quickly as he can. Right?
That's right. Absolutely.
You know, sometimes I think I should have started on percussion or whatever, fill in the blank, and just do one thing. But I was playing with the college orchestra yesterday, and I've done some composing and some arranging and different instruments. I played trombone.
And you sing,
once.
Jerry.
Yeah, I sang with the Vermont Symphony Orchestra chorus for
I'll tell you what my hope it would be that either one of you or both of you or maybe someone else has that particular skill. You really, I'd like to encourage you to put this story that we've shared verbally into writing. A small pamphlet would be just lovely to have all of the pieces that you've put together out in this short time. And I don't know if you've thought about that before, but I'd encourage you to do it.
I think we're too busy actually doing this stuff to write about it.
Well, then maybe you can find a fellow traveler writer who would come along and say,
and
yes,
we certainly have programs and CDs, and we have a database of every piece we've performed. So
Well, you're
I have all the history there. We just have to get it in. We'd have to get it into a form.
you are a marvelous example of what makes community life worthwhile. What makes community life worthwhile is that people are able to come and be encouraged. People are able to come and be able to participate. People are able to come and listen. And so you're making a contribution that you probably don't even think about. But in fact, it's a really great contribution. And so I want to celebrate that for you and with you. And hope you might,
Thank you.
might find a writer who would like to have that same passion. And because it would be a good story. I want to thank you for this conversation. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank
and
you.
I'm looking forward to your concert.
It was a pleasure.
And we will be talking about other possibilities in our community in the years to come.
December 4 or 5.
All right.
Looking forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.